Hi guys, my name is Borrodante. Let's paint Lilies for Daisy. So this is a story, a novel, by a writer Jakob Becker, and we're gonna paint a cover for it. Now me and Jacob already started working on it. I proposed a few sketches, or more like black and white quick paintings, presenting different ideas for the story, and now as we decided to work on one of the ideas, we'll go ahead and render it. So the story is obviously about war, American soldiers, friendship, love, and human qualities being tested by the trying times of the war. So let's go through the ideas that I showed to Jacob before we chose one of them. So the first one was this one. Just to make it clear, this is the layout of the whole cover. This is a physical cover with the backside and the spine. So we're doing everything, and this is the bleed. The edges that should be also shown to wrap the cover around and just for the bias of the printing technology. So yeah, the first idea was like this, like white lilies wrapped into American flag with a bunch of guns around it. Kind of like a psychedelic modern art kind of stuff. I don't know, this was the first thing that came to my mind. Kind of in my style of work. But I really didn't know exactly what to put into the picture, like for the new author. I never worked with Jacob before, and this is like a big novel about human qualities. Like, it felt like this kind of story wouldn't really pay enough respect to this kind of content. So I moved along and came up with this. This was like the basic idea of something else. The story is about soldiers in the made-up country that is basically a desert. So this was the basic idea, then I improved it to this kind of unusual concept of a soldier standing next to an American flag wrapped around the ghost or a memory of his friend. It kind of resembles the way American soldiers are buried if they died in action. Their coffins are wrapped in the American flag, so this was kind of like a hint on that. So they are both standing next to each other, looking the same direction, like they're looking into the path of what our main character is supposed to go through to deliver the lilies. Then I decided to change the background a bit, make it a bit more flat, like the camera is lower, closer to the ground. And here we see one lily, or bush of lilies, whatever, growing in the desert, and there's the early dawn going on. But then I elaborated a little bit into it, adding some soldiers looking at the dawn, plus adding some action with the smoke, and also adding the American flag behind the title. And then there was the version of the same thing, but I decided to blend away the flag a little bit like this, so it looks a bit more poetic. And the final idea I got before showing all of this to Jacob was this one. I decided to dish the idea of the landscape and just showing one soldier holding the lily, or maybe many lilies. It doesn't look very good, but yeah, and the sun is hitting from the back, getting through the flag, like lighting up the flag from the behind. So it would look kind of nice, and a lot of dust and dirt on the main character. So this was also a bit more intimate, somewhat closer to the actual human kind of cover. And Jacob decided to go with this story, so let's go ahead and paint it then. It seems like it's really close to the final stage, but really I'm going to redo a lot of stuff here. So yeah, right now I'll search the basic color scheme for the sky and the ground. Generally, the whole feeling of this kind of like a glorious golden gamma that I already have here kind of works good, plus the desert also brings in this kind of color. So generally the color scheme is going to be warm, but not completely, of course. So yeah, let's go ahead and paint a base. And also we'll be painting the whole thing at the same time, because the backside and the spine should have like a simplified continuation of this painting, like maybe a desert plus a flag kind of thing. Something like that. I don't know yet what kind of text will be going on in the back or anything like that, so I will just leave a lot of space there for the text to take place, generally. So yeah, let's go ahead and start the search. Hi! So, one power outage, a delightful process of recovering all the footage, and also 3 days later, we're back to this. So yeah, the power went out while I was painting and recording, and that ate away the rest of the night, and now I finally found time to get back to this. So let's keep going. But first, let's talk about what I did. So yeah, the main work I did so far was obviously on the flag and on spreading the landscape to the backside of the cover. I think it's turning out pretty cool. I think the flag still needs a bit more work, especially in the shape of the folds. The way I did in here, I really like it. It has like an actual three-dimensional folding away. Plus the air perspective looks really cool. So I want to add something like this in here to kind of balance it out. Because right now it's just a bit crumbled everywhere and that's all it is. I mean, the colors and whatnot is really cool, but yeah, adding this kind of stuff in here would bring a bit more of a logic to everything. But aside from that, I'm really happy with the flag. Well, obviously we need to turn some of these coins into stars as well. And maybe like all of the stars really need some more work, I think. But there's that. And the weakest part of the painting so far is this super pink color I chose for the dawn. I don't know why I thought in the process that it was okay, but then I started working on toning it down with a separate layer in color mode, just painting with a paler pink color on top. So this is where I am right now, comparing to what it was during the process. So yeah, let's keep working on this. I just want to put all the details, like the main details of the composition, on the canvas. And before actually adding the final touch, I want to show it to Jakob to make sure everything's good. Jakob actually sent me a reference, this one. Like, this is the kind of military outfit I should use for the soldiers in the back. I'm not sure if it's gonna be visible all that much, but I'll try to make it work. Plus, I mean, this is not the, like, field kind of setup for it, I suppose. I mean, we need probably something closer to this, like a lot of backpacks and all this stuff and the helmet. I guess. I don't think it would feel right if they would be standing naked like this. Half naked. Not naked at all, but you know what I mean. So yeah, like, I'll be using this kind of pattern if it will actually show up in this kind of lighting and the setup. And aside from that, we'll just make sure that the color balance is proper and all stuff like that. Also, I'll need to ask Jakob if we need to add some... Well, we definitely do need, but I need the text for the backside to position it properly. Oh, also we should mark in the Jakob's name at the top. Yeah, that would be great. So yeah, there's that. I've been using quite a lot of color abstraction, like colors are changing from stroke to stroke everywhere. So that is adding up to the artistic feeling of the painting, which is something Jakob said he really would like to have. Like, he wants the cover to look like it's actually painted. So that's what we're doing here. I think on the flag it's really showing up well. Also, I kind of like, I was sort of fixing the shapes of the letters from this to this a little bit. I think it may be a good idea to just keep the title like this. Probably not. We should probably look for some kind of font. But for now, I keep it this way. Maybe the font will be just somewhat close to this. So yeah, that's it for now. Let's keep working and see what happens. Hi, hello again. So, here's what I've got so far. I've sent this version to Jakob, and he said he pretty much likes what's forming up here. But he agreed on what I said, is that we definitely need more work on the flower so far. It doesn't look that pretty. The stars on the flag should be a lot more straight. By the way, I'm really happy about how the general shape of the flag turns out to be. This looks really awesome. I made quite a few changes to the shape, and the definition looks pretty dope. So yeah, now I'm in Photoshop, as you can see. That's because I started working with the fonts. I replaced the handwriting with this kind of font I found on Google Fonts. Decided to go with the handwritten font, since it looked really cool, like it's a note from the diary. And Jakob agreed, and he said that it actually fits pretty well with the story, because it also has a certain part of the diary of the main character, like he has a diary or something. So this actually works pretty well. But Jakob said that the bold font on the name is not working very well. Well, I agree. Also, maybe make it a little bit smaller, so it would feel a bit more in the line with the title here. Maybe a little bit smaller. I'll give that a go. What else? The outfit of the soldiers works well. Also, I had an idea when I was sending this to Jakob to add another soldier in here, like about this big. Better use a new copy of the composition, I guess. So somewhere around here there will be another one. Somewhere in the middle between the size of this guy and this one. Just to balance out the fact that there's such a massive spot of these two soldiers in here, but barely anything on this side. Maybe a bit even more to the right. Feels like he needs to be really balancing out a lot. Something like this. Yeah, I think it feels good, like in here it's in the middle and the massive spot. In here it's a little smaller, but more to the right. So it kind of feels appropriate. But also we need to remove one of the soldiers. Jakob said that it actually fits well with the story if there will be only 5 soldiers in the painting. So we'll remove this one in the far distance. There we go. What else? Oh yeah, Jakob said to add more definition to the boots, because they're an important symbol in the story. So that will be a thing. I'll add somewhat of like maybe more air perspective in the back behind the boots, so there will be a good shape, and maybe we'll add somehow some of the sunlight to it as well. So yeah, there's that. I'll probably finish this today, so let's do the final push, move, piece of work. Let's start. So I decided to create a shape of the 5-pointed star. Looks like a pretty American star, right? I created it using the tool called Polygon tool, choosing 5 sides and checking the star mode in here. So maybe this will improve the straightness and accuracy of the stars, if I'll be able to shape them into the place properly. At least some of them should be like perfectly defined. That's always a good idea. So we'll see how I'll be able to use this. So far I added the new soldier and fixed some mass in the background and some of the smoke parts. Added some contrast around the boots. It's really hard to add any more definition to them considering the lighting and the distance. But yeah, so far looking pretty good. The improvements. Moving on. Okay, so I spent some time doing some fixes and whatnot. Most work, of course, was done on the stars, although the most noticeable change is the new soldier right here. But he didn't take a lot of time. It looks kinda decent. The flower, I still wanna add just a little bit more work to it, because some of the leaves are kinda weird still. But yeah, the stars were actually quite interesting. I did use the pattern that I created, but then there was one interesting thing. I made a mistake. At first, I created the stars a bit too big like this, and then I made them smaller like this. And it seemed like it would take a whole lot of time to do it, selecting every separate star and making it smaller, typing in the same percentage of making it smaller so they wouldn't be all different. But I found a better way, which was really cool. Let me tell you about it. So let's start with the bigger one. What I did was I entered the liquefy mode, and then I used the shrinking tool, which is... oh, it's called pucker tool. The hotkey is letter S. And then I chose the density. You kind of have to tweak it so it wouldn't distort too much, like so it wouldn't shrink strongly in the center, but not so much on the edges of the brush, so the stars wouldn't distort too much. Meaning if the density would be smaller... oops, have to remove the background right now. But anyway, if the density is small, when I'll be shrinking it, you see the star turns into something horribly spiky. By making it 100, it kind of have the opposite effect. You see the star becomes a bit fat. It kind of takes it to be about 90. That allows you to avoid distortion. And then I used the mouse, because I needed to not move my brush around and just make specific 5 clicks at the same place. Making sure that I center the brush exactly at the center of the star, so I wouldn't have to realign them after that. So I just went ahead and just did this a lot faster than selecting each brush and making it smaller with the same percentage. So yeah, that's what I did, and then I painted over. I fixed the coloring a little bit in a way that it was very yellow, while the white stripes next to the stars were not that yellow. So I kind of made the color the same for the stars so they would be actually white looking. So there's that. Maybe they look a bit too sharp. I can blend them around a bit. Right now they're all merged into one layer using this kind of brush, but I don't know, it'll take some time, but it may be worth it, so it wouldn't stand out that much from everything else. So I'll probably go ahead and do that a little bit, plus a little bit of fixes on the flower, and after that I'll add some fancy cool design on the spine of the book in here. Probably nothing special, I'll just copy the little part of this flag and put it right here. So that's what I'm about to do, and I think that will be it. So we're really close to the end. So let's do this. Okay, I think this is it. I did fix the stars by creating a selection based on their shape and then blurring it out a bit, kind of like this. I saved the stars in a separate layer. Control click, and then in the quick mask mode, I just like blurred it out a little bit, something like this, and then using it, I kind of messed with the shape like this. So it kind of ate away the very corners of the stars a little bit and made them look a bit more like they were worked around. So they're not super digital and sharp, have some imperfections. Look pretty good, I think. Yeah, here's the actual comparison. Sharpness, touchness. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Okay, so I did that, then I added a bit more work to the flowers, added a little bit of the glow around the flower so it would look like important and special, so that's cool. Oh, and most importantly, I fixed the geometry of this one. There's more changes in here than I did in the last moment, but yeah, I moved this leaf lower to create this kind of circle in here, because this leaf was kind of like raised a bit too much just because geometry was failing, and this one is much more appropriate. So yeah, I think it looks pretty cool now. And finally, the spine. What I did is, basically, I just copied the flag to the back of the title the same way it is on the main cover. But also, I mean, this is not necessary. I think this kind of thing is also pretty much an option. And maybe we'll probably go with this one, so it would just all be continuous. And all kinds of things. Maybe an option here, of course. But yeah, I think we're pretty much done here. I think I fixed everything Jacob and I came up with. And yeah, later on, I'll put the text and the photo of Jacob to the back cover and maybe do some adjustments of the composition to frame it better. But yeah, we're done here. Tell me guys what you think about this. If you have some ideas what to fix, I'll happily read your ideas. The book is not completely finished yet. It's close to that as far as I understand, but not completely finished, so I don't know, you'll see the final result on the actual book sometime in the future. Probably kind of soon, but that's all I know. And also, I thank you for watching if you did. I guess you did if you're here. Leave a like and subscribe. Tell a friend. Keep your promises. Do whatever you want. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. I just realized I almost reached the photorealistic level of clouds in this area. From the distance, it looks just like a photo. I'm so awesome.